Hello, I'm going to talk you through our reification process for UI design. So as you know, we use Figma. We have two files. We've got Fleet EE current dev ready, and this is our source of truth for what is in production. And as close as possible, we try to have this as an exact mirror of what's in production. We also have Fleet EE Scratchpad, and this is where we create new ideas. We draft lo-fi and hi-fi designs. The main stages we have got other stages, but the main stages we have is drafted, vetted, architected, and this is the one that we need to focus on for reification, the architected one. So look for the little guy with the sunglasses. So let's, for example, take this one. So each one of these is matches a GitHub issue for a feature that we want to bring into Fleet EE current. So we'll use updated policies in the UI to yes and no, which will be these two columns here. So if we quickly look at the pages we're on, so we look for policies. This is the page here, it's reflecting the name, so policies. And we're going to look for that here. And then we just need to change these columns and then any other changes that may be on the page. So for example, it looks like this is different. So it's kind of like a game of spot the difference with slightly higher stakes. So we look at this is different and seems to be the same. So yeah, and then we've got the different pages with other changes on there. We've got the yes and no added here. Yes and no is changed into this status column here. So let's start with this one. Now, there's a lot of different ways we could use Figma. Figma's quite advanced in terms of its symbols or components, as they call it. Some items we have componentized, but let's not worry about that for now. We're going to do things quite old school, just in the spirit of everyone being able to just get in straight away and get working. So if we look at this is our first change, so we'll take that and we'll copy it and come into our Fleet current and just drop it in. Now you'll notice that it's actually not it's not brought over the style, which is not ideal. Okay, let's backtrack from that a minute. Let's just undo out of that. Instead of copying the actual thing, let's take the actual copy and paste the actual item, the description item, and then find this one here, and we will paste it in. Okay, now it's brought everything in. So rather than selecting the text, we should just actually take the actual text item. So it's dropped this in under here. We can now remove that one. All right, that's good. Now we need to change these columns. Sounds like my children are incoming. Bear with me if I have to pause this. No, I think we're good. So next we have these two columns that we need to change. So firstly, you'll find that we have these dev notes floating around. They may or may not get in your way. So what's a good idea is it's a good idea to keep these on top of the layer stack so we can easily select them all. And then we can either lock them or we can just show and hide them. I'll just lock them so they're not going to get in the way. So now we can click into this, no problem. Okay, we go back to Scratchpad. We need these new columns bringing in. So we'll grab the entire cell and we'll grab that one too. So just shift and click on it. And then Command C to copy it. Come back in. And what we're going to do is, inside this table header, now what I will show you is, so when I was talking before about some of the more advanced Figma features, which we do have in places, one of them you might notice, and look for this icon here, is their auto layout, and it's a stack, and this is stacking horizontally. This one below is stacking vertically. Now we don't have to worry too much about it, but what it means is that when we paste our new items in, they're going to paste within this stack. So I'll just show you. So we'll drop it in, and it just drops them all in line like that. But that's just so you're aware of what's happening. So now we can delete that, and we can just grab this one too, the old previous failing, delete that. Okay, so that's in. And then we check, and I think that is everything for that page. Okay. Now then, we may or may not have dev notes in here. It looks like Noah's already written these, so we can bring these over. So I'll take this, and copy it, and we'll drop this in here. Again, make sure we're at the top of our stack. Here we go. And we'll just drop that in, and then we'll just drag it up to somewhere that makes sense. So it might mean that we might need to rearrange things because we've got quite a lot going on here. So we'll just drop that here, and we can stretch it to point it where we want it to be. Now we'll take this one because it's in the way, and we'll just unlock these ones that we previously locked. We'll take that one, and we can maybe move it here. You may find that we need to move some things out of the way to make space for it. So let's just select all of these. There's quite a lot going on. Let's just select everything. Okay. Let's not select that. And then we'll just drag it over, give us some more space to move. And we'll take this, we'll put it here, and then over in the panel on the right hand side of the screen, we've got, this is a component, which I was talking about earlier. There's different, you can have different states for a component which we have created ourselves. So we'll choose a left. These are just different directions for our arrow to be on. So we'll choose left, and then we'll just drag that over to here. Ah, that's now making sense again. So this navigates the user to the host page with the new policy label. Okay. And then I believe there was one more. And that's that. And this one, column updated to name. So that's something we forgot to put in. So this needs to change to name. So we'll just double click into that, or however many clicks it takes. Put that as name. And then we need to, for this one, let's create a dev note in here from scratch. So let's just make some space. And then you go to assets, and you just type dev note. And that'll bring us a new blank dev note. Change it to down. And we'll bring this guy and we'll point it here. There we go. And what was it that Noah had? It said column updated to name. Okay, I'll type that in. Column updated to name. Children incoming. No, we're safe. Okay, so that is our first page done. Now we go to here, we've got host page policy filter. So what we want to do is, actually that's not our first page done. We now need to apply those changes to everything on here. So let us do that now. Okay, so now we need to put the drop down in. So we'll copy that, and then we'll bring it into the policy filter here. And firstly, we'll change this label to yes, and then we're going to change this size. Now, you would have to use your judgment on this, but typically I like to keep my spacings consistent, either 4, 8, 16, 24, 40 being my largest one, So in this case, a good way to do it is just to bring that chevron in line with the S. And then over here in the width, you just put at 24. And you can just do that, and that'll just give it a nice padding. Do the same over this one. We'll change that to no. We'll change that to 114, I guess, to match. Okay. And this is where we need to drop the new drop down in. So we'll paste that in here. We'll line it up. Delete the old one. And then to match, we'll just make that. Well, you see it's snapping to something here, so we can just change it over here to 114. And then we just want to make sure that that fits. So change that from 114 to. Okay. So that's good. And then we'll take this dev note. It was already here, so we will copy it. If it's not and you feel you need to add a dev note in, remember you can go through your assets and search for dev note here. And then we'll select that one there to make sure we are back on that top of that stack. Paste it, move it over, and then in the direction over here we'll point it to the right. And there we go. How are we looking? So we've got everything reified from these two screens, and now onto the host details page. So over on the host details page here, we need to change this column. And first we'll just double check that none of this messaging has changed. So it looks the same. So we're going to change these here. So what we'll do, okay, we've got a few things going on here. So the quickest way to do this would be to take the whole table. So we'll select the whole table, we'll copy it, we'll come in. Now then, make sure that if you were to paste it onto this one, what it's going to do, it's going to paste it inside this this layer. So make sure you just bring yourself back out to the one above and then paste it, and it'll paste inside. There we go, it's dropped it in. And as you can see, because what we spoke about before, it's dropped it within that vertical stack. So what we'll do is we'll just select the original one, delete it, and everything will bounce back into place. All right, so that is how you reify UI designs from Fleet EE Scratchpad to Fleet EE Current. Some are more easy than others. This was a fairly simple one. If you have any problems, reach out to me and I can give you some help with Figma. And yeah, have fun.